Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Monday the 17th of January 2022 and we're producing our regular morning update providing prices, news and economic data. Today we see gold and silver rise, though we're not expecting a particularly eventful week in terms of economic data, but may have to rely more on geopolitical news instead affecting prices. So let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Monday, the 17th of January 2022 at 0900 hours in the morning. Yes, it's an early one this morning. The news today, to some degree, is encouraging. Encouraging because we see a top banker resign for breaking COVID rules, whereas we all know politicians refuse to do so. Encouraging because UK property prices are rising, but slightly discouraging is the headline UK power spikes above £1,000 with extreme wind lull. And we'll take a look at that because it could be a forewarning for other countries. Let's have a look at this Credit Suisse chairman. Credit Suisse Group AG's chairman Antonio Horta Osorio resigned after just 9 months in the role, following a series of missteps, including reported breaches of Swiss and UK quarantine rules that eroded confidence in his leadership. The sudden exit follows a disastrous year at Credit Suisse, in which the twin scandals of Greensill Capital and Arcasios Capital Management cost the bank more than $5 billion and slashed the stock by a fifth. The former Lloyds Banking Group plc Chief Executive Officer, and this is the organisation that I belong to, had joined the bank with a mandate to repair the damage and revamp the risk-taking culture at the Swiss lender. So, was he got rid of because of COVID breaches, or was it because of the financial scandals? UK property asking prices increase at quickest pace since 2016. Asking prices for UK homes rose at the fastest annual rate in almost 6 years as the number of available properties dropped to a record low. Britain's housing market continues to boom despite the end of a temporary tax break last year and an interest rate increase in December, propped up by a chronic shortage of properties on offer and mortgage costs near a record low. Perhaps more relevant to all of us is the rise in power prices. And what can happen here in the UK because of alternative energy methods could happen in your country too, as we move from fossil fuels to other forms of green energy. Power prices for Monday evening surged to the highest in a month. The supply is set to drop with declining wind generation. The contract for 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. London time jumped to £1,161, which is the equivalent of $1,589 a megawatt hour, the highest since December 16th on the N2X exchange. At the same time, wind output is forecast to slide below 1.5 gigawatts, compared with a 10-day average of 6.3. The soaring prices show the increasing pressure the UK power market is under as its aging fleet of nuclear reactors shuts and aren't immediately replaced. Gas was meeting 39% of demand, wind 26% and coal 4% on Monday morning. Wind is forecast to increase from Tuesday, peaking above 15 gigawatts on Wednesday. A lesson for us all. BBC Business News highlights the Credit Suisse boss resigning over COVID breaches. Interesting article, but we don't have time to go into it now. Wealth of the 10 richest men doubled during the pandemic. And we can see Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and now actually forecast potentially to be the world's first ever dollar trillionaire. This is an interesting one for us, and maybe we'll do a separate video on this. China cuts interest rates as economic growth slows. Compared to a year earlier, The economy grew 4% in the last 3 months of 2021. That was better than most economists had predicted, but it was a lot slower than the previous quarter. Warning sign: global recovery. In America, a lot about disasters, unfortunately. Synagogue siege, thousands without power as US hit by winter storm. US warns of Russian false flag Ukraine operation, something we touched on briefly on the weekend update. Now, looking at the financials this morning, it is early, markets haven't been open that long. Dollar index is down to 95.05. The dollar is weakening. We were expecting, quite frankly, for it to strengthen. Not necessarily this week, but certainly after this week, we would expect a slight recovery. Energy prices still going up, $0.50. So we have WTI crude at over 84 and Brent crude over $86. Remember a few months ago, we quoted someone who made a prediction of $100 a barrel oil. We said that would be pretty disastrous for the global economy, and hopefully that won't happen. And then we saw oil prices come back down into the 70s and late 60s. Unfortunately, it's heading back up to that $100. Will that forecaster be right? Time will tell. Equity markets. Well, on the weekend update, which we put a link below, we highlighted what happened to the American markets last week. Overnight, Asia Pacific broadly up. Hang Seng always seemed to be operating in an opposite direction to the Nikkei, but broadly up 0.5%. And UK and European markets, albeit still very early, up between 1/3 and 0.5%. Gold prices this morning, strengthening. We've said in our weekly update we probably expect slightly stronger prices this week. But as we'll see in a moment, the amount of economic data being announced is pretty limited and probably will be broadly ineffectual. So we shall be relying on geopolitical news more so than necessarily financial data coming out of the United States. So we have gold at 1822. It did actually dip on opening, but has recovered quickly. Silver prices similarly up 13 cents at $23.11, so back over that $23 level. Again, dipping to $22.85 and now recovering again. On the economic front, nothing scheduled today because it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index and the NAHB Home Builders Index tomorrow. And looking at the rest of the week, frankly, other than Thursday and maybe the leading economic indicators, it's not going to be an overexciting week as far as that data is concerned. Cryptocurrency markets down a little, nearly 1%, but still holding a market cap above 2 trillion. Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's down. ADA or Cardano is actually up 12% this morning. Not sure why, we haven't looked into that yet. But that was the third largest cryptocurrency in terms of market capitalization. It's fallen to the fifth, and it's taken quite a hit in recent months. That's it for now. Probably an unexciting day, unless, of course, something happens with Russia and Ukraine. Will there be more resignations, particularly about office parties, as highlighted about Boris Johnson and his government? We'll wait and see. We don't think so. Thank you so much for listening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Until our next video. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.